experience as a sitter for aggressive Alzheimer patients. And I quit after that because it was so intense, and I just couldn't help but empathize with these people. And then, other than that, like, I think it's human experience, right? Like, we all feel lonely, we all like want to be somewhere else sometimes, and I think that's universal.
Yeah, terrific. The music in the show, so this show has played before, it's not the first mounting of it, but the music is sort of debuting, this particular score. So tell us what that process was like.
It was a surreal experience. Megan gave me a call. We're cousins, we're family, and she gave me a call and said, I'm going to Fringe with this play, and I want live music. What can you do? So she sent me the script, and I reviewed it, and immediately fell in love with Mabel and how many layers there were to her. She wasn't just this senior woman. I mean, she's this sexy, spicy, vibrant, angry, romantic, lovely woman who probably danced into the night and drank lots of wine and wore spectacular heels and was profound on stage. And then I had to make her sound amazing with the piano. So I read, and it was very organic. Just when it felt right, it felt right. I'm not a composer, much to the dismay of many of my teachers, who could sit and write music and talk about fifths and all the musical jargon. I had to feel it. It had to feel right. It needed to have an essence, and we did it. I'm in Truro, I'm just outside of Halifax, and Megan was in Ottawa. So I did it, and I would send her clips, and just 2 days before we hit the stage, we met up, and it was like, does this work? And
it did.
So we were very fortunate that it worked, and I have the great honor of working with Kathy, who is a brilliant actress. And as I watch her, I find I have to be very conscious not to get lost in what she's doing, so I don't miss my cues, which is a great sign of a very great actress. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Actually, one of the main pieces of music that I use through the production is a piece that up until 2 or 3 days before we met, I didn't have. And I didn't know quite what to do, and it grew from an experience I had with a very good friend of mine, a very heartbreaking experience. And when I'm lost, different people do different things, but for me, I go to my piano and I just hash it out. It's me and the keyboard. And that piece came from that experience, and I named it Heartbreak for that. And it is her theme for her love affair with the character Sean through the play. So.
And so you mentioned Kathy. Kathy's not here, but it's from a stage perspective, I guess, mainly focused on her. She's Mabel.
Yeah.
So you've done the show before. Has it always started Kathy? Did you sort of write it with her in mind, or? I
didn't write it with her in mind, but she's perfect for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy. Kathy is actually 60, which is the same age as Mabel. And for the last 10 years, Kathy, she's been acting for 40 years, that's her profession. The only roles she's gotten are like the doddering, like little old lady characters. And so she it was easy to get her on board to do something interesting, because there's very little like interesting roles for older women. They're kind of like forgotten in theater, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and you were telling me when we were talking about the show earlier about sort of trying to make sure that she is more than just someone suffering from Alzheimer's.
Totally. And so, like in the play, like she revisits past roles. You see somebody with 40 years acting experience do Hedda Gabler, do Nina from the Seagull, do St. Joan. She does all of these characters, and she, yeah.
So you have to find an actress who can play a good actress, but also be going through what Mabel's going through.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty challenging role. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
But Kathy's amazing.
Yeah, when you watch Kathy, you don't look at her as an actress on stage, you're immediately drawn into Mabel. There is no Kathy. She's there as Mabel, and it's captivating. I don't know any other word to use for her, but absolutely captivating.
Wonderful. Before we wrap up, are there any other Atlantic Fringe shows that you've seen or are on your radar screen that you'd like to talk about?
First of all, I think it's amazing you guys do the sampler. It was so fun and like such a good preview. So I really want to see Watch Out Wildcat from that.
That's one of my
It
lists.
looks so fun.
I'll take a second in case anyone in the audience or at home doesn't know, but one of the things we do, our kickoff for the Fringe Festival, is we have a sampler event where all of the shows get the chance to give a 60-second snippet, or whatever their 60 seconds is theirs, whatever they want to do with it. So it's kind of, in and of itself, it's kind of an interesting show because you get to see what people do with 60 seconds when they're used to having 60 minutes on stage. So, so Watch Out Wildcat.
There are a few others. I want to see Traffic One as well. I have like a list. I'm like trying to fit it all into the schedule on top of stage managing.
Yeah.
So.
Right, because you're also,
intense.
just doing a show all of the time. And you're at you're at the Neptune Theater.
That's right.
And when is your next show?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. And how many shows do you have left? Are you on every night for the rest of the
We have 5 nights left, so we're off Thursday and Friday. The rest of the time we're on. So
We have a matinee on Saturday at 3:45. So
Okay.
it's a good time to come, watch the show, and then go have drinks on the patio and discuss it.
Awesome. I love the matinees.
Yeah.
We've got, I just like alcohol, but
That was my plan, right? Come for the show, stay for the alcohol.
and I wanted to mention, because whenever I talk about your show, I'm mentioning that you are offering half price tickets for anyone who, maybe you should say it because I don't want to screw it up.
Sure. Anyone, so like healthcare workers who work with people with dementia or people who have family members with dementia, we found those people, they have like a whole new perspective to bring to play, so 50% off tickets for them. Say so at the door, and yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that's, in addition to it being a great show, I think it's lovely that you're doing that. So. Okay, thank you very much for being here. Okay, and we will move right along. Show number 3 on our list for tonight is Tribe of One. Just the two of you? You've got like half your cast here.
We're the first ones to bring up beer with us, too.
I know, I tried to
You look like the
encourage
lonely
everybody.
alcoholic on stage here.
Or, in my life.
It makes me feel any better. I came into the room with 2 beers and I'm now without any.
I was like, I never see Annie Valentine out here, but she's actually on stage acting. So. Okay, so full disclosure for the audience and at home, I know these cats, we go way back, but I'm also involved in their theater company, The Doppler Effect, so if it seems like I know a little bit more about their show than others, it's just because I've been talking to them about it for a while before the Fringe even started. So with that in mind, please introduce yourselves to the audience and tell us what show you're in.
I'm Michael McPhee. I'm the creative director of The Doppler Effect, and I'm the writer and director of Tribe.
And I'm Annie Valentino. I am the artistic producer of The Doppler Effect, and I am an actor in Tribe One in both casts.
And as we discovered last year during a Fringe show, you're also a real-life married couple.
Yeah, we got secretly married and didn't tell anyone for like 3.5 years, including our parents. And then we came out by doing a show about it.
Anyway, but that was last year's show.
We've moved on.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about Tribe of One. It's a very complicated show. I'm sure you can talk about it for a long time. I've heard you talk about it for a long time. So.
It's a bonkers project. It's an epic sci-fi that takes place in a utopic, dystopic future. And it focuses on the idea that psychopaths are in charge of major ethical decisions because they don't have empathy. It's a world that really values the greater good. So it's the idea of, I'm willing to kill this one person if it makes these 1,000 people live. So basically, psychopaths become ethical mathematicians, where they just calculate what is the actual greater good. here's the course of action that we're supposed to take. And as a result, they're extremely lauded because they're making our lives, the rest of the neo-humans, our lives simpler. They're saving our conscience from everything. But they're psychopaths. And we know that they're psychopaths. So they're branded. And we kind of all treat them in a sense of like, thank you, sir, please stay over there. So they're really lonely, like almost like gargoyle-like creatures that are just kind of like locked in their ivory towers and no one wants to interact with them. So it's kind of a really human exploration of this, what that does to people. And there's also this really big nature versus nurture question going on. It's a complex play.
Okay, and we'll keep talking about other levels of it too in a minute, but so Annie, tell us who you play. I guess who, plural, you play.
Yeah. So I play two different characters because the play has two different casts. And the reason that the play has two different casts is because in this future world that we're presenting, gender is kind of irrelevant to who you are or your position in society. So it's this kind of, the utopic aspect of it is that there's complete equality between the genders. And so we have casts that kind of do a little bit of a